Welcome to Event Radio, covering local drag racing, stock car racing, motorcycles, go-karts. If it's got wheels and you can race it, you'll hear about it here. Event Radio is motorsports radio on steroids. Now, let's join your hosts, Spivvy Williams and Terrible T Guy.
All right, guys, welcome to the next edition of Event Radio. This show is going to be a little bit special. This one's going to be different. We're getting to go down memory lane a little bit, but we're actually going to do a little bit of a car venture on the side. It's amazing in the car hobby how many things are related to a car. There have been movies made about them, lots of movies. You think about Christine that munched everybody and it came back, and you think about the California Kid, the little 34 Ford Roadster. But one that is really cool comes out in a song. A lot of songs have been written about cars.
And there'll be fun,
yeah, right.
Tell Daddy.
There you go. One of the coolest songs that's ever been written. Of course, there's been She's Real Fine, My 409, Little Deuce Coupe. There's been so many. But one of the coolest songs the Beach Boys did, and it was called Fun, Fun, Fun. And the song was done by about a T-Bird. Now, a T-Bird has been used a lot of places. It's been used in American Graffiti on that movie where the good-looking girl's in one and they chase her down. And oh, man, they've been used in a lot of spots. But my guest that is going to be, we're going to spend the next little bit with, he, believe me, if there's such a thing as knowing why Daddy took the T-Bird away, this gentleman knows what that is about. He owns and operates one of the coolest attractions in the state. I've had the pleasure of going. It is a night of entertainment that you're not soon to forget. The cool thing about it is a lot of people use props that are pictures and they're aluminum, things like that. He uses the real deal. He has quite an extensive collection of old cars, T-Birds included, guys. And trust me, we're going to get to spend some time with a gentleman that I admire a lot. I've been and seen a couple of his shows. If you get the opportunity to make your way to Hoodoo Holler, which was what we will call, but it's actually Pine Knob, Kentucky, and it's right out of Caneyville. And if you get the chance to go there, there is a little play there called Pine Knob Theater that he has entertained thousands. I mean thousands. But we're going to take a real quick break. It is my pleasure to be able to introduce you to the gentleman that is the star of that show, and he's going to be the star of ours, Mr. Honest Shane. Don't you go anywhere. You're on Event Radio, and we're just having too much fun for an old fat guy, and we'll be right back.
On the track or on the street, the number one brand in performance is Holley. Have you heard about the Ultra Street Avengers, Ultra Double Pumpers, Ultra HP, and Ultra Dominator carburetors? They're ultra light, ultra cool, and ultra fast. Holley carbs are the most powerful carbs money can buy with no further modifications. Holley, winning performance for over 100 years.
All right, guys, we are back, and I get to get my buddy joining me here, and man, this is a pleasure. This guy is a pro. He's an entertainer. He sings, he dances, he walks on water, he does all that good stuff.
You're too kind, I tell you.
No, Mr. Honest Shane. Buddy, how are you?
Just fine, just fine.
Hey, it rained on us, didn't it?
Well, I reckon, but got to before we got to have some water, you know.
Yeah, got to have a little water, you know.
Yeah.
We won't melt, you know. If it was, I'd be the biggest glob of sugar it ever was. You have got quite an operation, my friend. It is the most entertaining outdoor theater. Everybody talks about my old Kentucky home, and everybody talks about all those places. And trust me, guys, if you have not been to Pine Knob Theater, you haven't experienced an outdoor theater.
Right.
This is fun. And you laugh, and you have a good time. And if only thing, they're too doggone short. They need to be longer because it's just too much fun.
Well, like that, they always said, make your audience want more. Never give them enough. Make
Buddy,
them want more.
I have never left there not wanting more. I guarantee you. And I had the pleasure one time. I went to an Elvis show there, and we had he has dinner. He has train cars that you can eat dinner in,
right?
And the food's good, and I mean,
I cook too, by the way.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Well, no, you didn't have to tell me that part. You didn't have to. You do that too. I thought that pretty wife of yours did the cooking.
No, Debbie cook. Yeah. No,
she doesn't cook. Oh, okay. Not. You got into the old cars. Tell me, I don't know the total connection with Pine Knob, but you are Pine Knob.
Well, my family came here in the late 1700s, and it's been, I stayed. Let me just say this. I was lucky. When I got out of high school, there was no jobs in our county for young men, and all of the boys and girls that were older than I was had to leave. Most of them had to leave Grayson County and go to Louisville or off in another state or Bowling Green or somewhere to find work.
Right.
I'm just in love with the place. And by the way, the reason the theater I think has been so successful is because I love that place. The kids that come there, the people that come there and perform, love it, and all of our love for the Pine Knob Hoodoo Holler community just bleeds over into the audience because we're out there having fun. We're the little rascals putting on a show.
Hey, buddy, let me tell you what it's entertainment from you get entertained, guys. Trust me, from the minute you leave, get out of the parking lot, and you start in there. The entertainment starts. It never stops. It's beautiful. It's kept immaculate. It's as good as it gets, guys. I promise you. I mean, I've been a little critical, and
we just finished our 30th year.
Wow,
with 130,000 visitors.
I know it's been a bunch.
Yep.
I know it's been a bunch.
Yep.
Well, it's a definite must if you get anywhere in the country. I don't care if you're in Louisville, Indianapolis, Nashville, Paducah, wherever you are. You find your way to Western Kentucky Parkway, and you go until you see a little sign that says Caneyville, 1 mile, and you get off there at Caneyville. And you can find it real easily from there.
And we like to identify with Rough River State Resort Park, too, because we're only 14 miles south of the state park. And a lot of people out, all around the country come to Kentucky for state parks, and a lot of people come to the, Rough River State Park also. So that's always a good way to help us identify, too. But the funny thing is this. I used to tell people when I'd be off somewhere and talking to somebody, they'd say, "Where are you from?" And I'd say, "Well, I'm from... you know where Louisville is? Yeah. Well, I'm about 90 miles south. You ever heard of, you know where Elizabethtown? Yeah, I know where. And then I say, well, you know where Litchfield is? Yeah, we know where Litchfield is. And I say, well, now, do you know where Caneyville is? And they say, well, I think the area. And I said, well, I'm from a little town outside of Caneyville called Pine Knob. They said, well, we know where Pine Knob is.
Yeah, that's right.
So I've quit. I've quit telling people.
Yeah, you don't need to give them all those.
I start with where I'm from.
There you go. Don't start with all that geography lesson. Just tell them where Pine Knob is, because everybody knows where it is now.
But I do tell them. I do actually go another step further. I'm starting to say we're from Hoodoo Holler.
Well, that'll work.
And let me tell you why. In 1902, the first country store was built in Pine Knob.
Okay.
My grandmother's sister's husband. Was Lonnie Lehman from Shrewsbury, Kentucky. He built the first store there in 1902. Jack Shane, a distant relative of mine back in those days, came from a little town called Tallahassee. It's down the creek about 2 miles from Pine Knob.
I never knew where that one was.
Tallahassee. Okay. He came up and applied for a job, and they told him to come back on Monday and he could go to work. Well, Jack liked to drink a little, and he got there kind of late on Monday, and they had already hired somebody else, and he lost his job. So he goes back to Tallahassee, and the folks down there said, Jack, thought you was working up at Pine Knob Day building that new store. And he said, oh, that dang bunch up there hoodooed him out of his job.
Oh, so
that's where the name comes from.
That's where Hoodoo Holler came from.
Yeah.
Well, isn't that, there's always stories on everything, and you never find out the real deal. So, see, this might be a first for event radio. Now people know.
And the other thing, too, the other good thing about Pine Knob and why it was so well known years ago was in 1935, they celebrated the preacher's 50th year of preaching at the Pine Knob Primitive Baptist Church. They had the third weekend in August, they had a celebration. They called it the Homecoming.
Okay.
every year after that, they continued to have the Pine Knob Homecoming. But 1953, the Courier-Journal came. There was 6,000 people at the Pine Knob Homecoming in 1953.
Wow.
They did a 5-page spread in the Courier-Journal in Louisville with pictures and information about Pine Knob. The last one held was 1957. There was close to 10,000 people there by then. But it was the biggest event, the biggest thing in the county. It beat the county fair. It beat everything that took place. And that's the atmosphere that I grew up in. And with my dad eventually built a new store there back in 1937 and 8. And my grandfather had a store before him. My mom taught school at the Pine Knob School, so we knew everybody in the community. I always say we were whipping their kids, or they owed us at the store. One way or another, we knew everybody. And so the homecomings, the family reunions that were held there on the picnic grounds. Pine Knob is a scenic area. We have caves. We have hiking trails. We do 2 hikes a year now. We allow people to come anytime, but we do 2 hikes when I actually tour people. The spring hike we had back in March, we had 103 go, and we just had one last October, and there was 97 of us in it.
Wow.
We've started to do that every year for people that don't know maybe how to hike or where to go to and see some of the nice cliffs and the caves and things that are there. So
you can show me pictures, okay?
Yeah, well, there's some easy ways to get around, too.
Okay, all right.
But that's what I grew up in. Now, I left Pine Knob after I got out of trade school in Louisville about 1971, and I built my first radio station over in Berea, Kentucky.
Right. I knew you had several.
Yeah, and then I bought one down in Williamsburg, Kentucky, and then I bought another one in Clarksburg, West Virginia, and then I built another one in Danville, Kentucky. So I had four at one time. Then my dad had a stroke, and my mom called me and kind of wanted me to come back home and help take care of things. So I sold my stations. I came back to home, and I started to building the Pine Knob Theater because I had been to the Wilderness Road outdoor drama in Berea. That's when they rebuilt all of it and started it up while I had the radio station. So I was kind of familiar with the outdoor drama theater, and I liked it so well. And I had a couple of friends, and they helped me get started, and we built the theater. And we just finished our 30th season last year. But
well, you know, what's really cool is you do so many different productions.
Yep.
That where did Doc Brown come into this? That was one of your first shows,
That's
wasn't
a true story. Doc Brown was an outlaw, and it's D-O-C-K. He's not a doctor.
Okay.
D-O-C-K is Doc, like what's up, Doc?
Yeah, okay. All right.
It's a name. But Doc Brown was really a hopper. He was Gillum Hopper Jr. They were from McMinnville, Tennessee. And his dad got in an argument with a neighbor, and he shot and killed him. And he left there. And Doc Brown was a young boy at the time, just 12 or 13 years old. But after they kind of grew up, he and his brother Pinckney took off doing some bad things and stealing some mules and horses and kind of making some hard, fast deals. And they ran across their father up around Cincinnati on the riverbank. He was just fishing, and they saw the old man, and they didn't know who he was, and they went down and just happened to be their father, which they hadn't seen in many, many years. Long story short, they eventually came back and built their home on the farm that I now own. We own the farm, and we had the grounds there. The outlaw was he was well liked in his day at Pine Knob. He did no harm to anybody here. He would go off in other states, and he would kill strangers coming through. The Pine Knob was in the traffic that the road that ran from Cloverport, Kentucky, to Bowling Green was called the old Bowling Green Cloverport Freight Road, and it ran right through Pine Knob. It's now Highway 79. 79 at Cadyville turns into 185. 185 come to Richardsville Road, comes into Bowling Green.
Sure.
Okay, that was the original. By the way, that's the first road to cross Kentucky from north to south, and that's the fact. That's the first road to cross the state from north to south was that road, which is now Highway 185, 79, and it went all the way to Nashville, picked up the Natchez Trace, and went all the way to Natchez, Mississippi. It was the interstate in its day.
Yeah,
See?
I'm sure it was.
So when the travelers coming through, they'd sell their goods and come back with money in their pockets. Doc was right there close. He put out the word. If you see any strangers traveling around, send them over to my place. I'll put them up for the night, and I'll show them a good time. I'll take them fox hunting.
Yeah.
So
and they never come back, right?
We took them to Big Mouth Cave. We have the biggest cave in Grayson County, there in Pine Knob. He take them to the cave, kill them, bury them there, and take their money. Of course, they just disappear. There was no way. They didn't have cell phones and didn't have any tracking. It was a little bit before that time. We're talking 1840s now.
Yeah, I know. But you do this play.
Yeah.
Don't tell them enough about it that they won't come see the play.
Well,
because we want them to do that because, guys, trust me. Until you go to Pine Knob Theater, you need to.
Yeah.
You got to have a night like this because this is so much fun, especially to so many of our listeners that come into Bowling Green for all the events that we cover. Whether it's Corvette Museum, whether it's Beach Bend, whatever, there are some nights that you have open that you need to check into Pine Knob Theater. It's not that far of a drive from here.
We're only an hour from Bowling Green.
Yeah, and it's let's put it this way. If your wife's nice enough to you to let you play with the race car, you need to go on and make her happy and take her to Pine Knob Theater because she'll love it.
I tell people this all the time, that women bring their men to the theater.
Well, and it's good. And it's fun.
But as they leave, we go out and shake hands with everybody.
Yes, you do, yes.
And as they come by, many men will come up to me and say, you know what? He said, my wife had to drag me here tonight, but I'm going to tell you what, I'll be back.
Yeah, and that was the way with me. I had such a good time. I enjoyed it. I've been twice, I think, and I still want to see. I know I got to, let's see, I saw the Elvis show. I haven't seen Doc Brown yet, but I did see Lard,
Lucy and Ruth's Diner.
Lucy and Ruth's Diner. That's hilarious.
Well, we had. Let me tell them a little bit about this because I wanted to write a play. By the way, I write all the shows because that way we could do what we want to with them.
Okay.
And we do it in a different fashion than most places. You know, a lot of times you'll write a play and go find people. We find the people that want to be in the plays
and then give them a
and
part.
write the show around those people.
How cool is that? That's
neat.
neat.
Because we can take the liberty to change anything we want to since it's our show, it's our theater, we wrote it.
That's right.
Now,
That's right.
If you pay for a script play, you have to do it the way they say do it. You know, or you can get in
I
trouble.
like your way better. I really do.
So
it's better.
We wanted to do a show, kind of spoof of Grease.
Okay.
And we thought country people call Grease lard.
Yeah, sure.
Cook with lard. You don't cook.
Sure,
you cook
sure.
with lard. So I took the word lard and tried to figure out, take the first letters of it and make something out of it. So Lucy is the L, and is A, Ruth is R, and
D is Diner.
Ruth,
Cool.
Lucy and Ruth's Diner, L-A-R-D, lard.
Trust me, it is one funny show. I mean, and guys, let me tell you what's really so cool about Honest. When you go to those shows, you get to see his car collection, but you get to see him in action.
On stage.
These are not just parked for you to look at. These things run. They drive them. They drive them in there. Everything from a 50, what years is the cop car? 55?
56.
56 Ford
and it's
Victoria.
an original New York police car.
Yeah, but I mean, guys, and of course, the one that I'm really looking forward to see, which is Daddy took the T-Bird away because he has a 56 T-Bird that is to die for. It is gorgeous, white car, beautiful car, and I'm looking forward to coming to that show. Where did you come up with that one?
T-Bird was actually the third show that I wrote. We started out with a historical play about Doc Brown because it's on his farm.
Yeah, sure.
It's a true story.
Yeah.
Colonel William R. Haynes, the first editor of Grace County newspaper, wrote a story about him in 1876.
Okay.
And it was copyright was never renewed on it, so the copyright expired after 50 years, and it becomes public domain, so we can do what we want to with that. So we took it, and that was the first show. And then I wrote a comedy called Down in Hoodoo Holler. We talked about hoodoo. But then the third year, I wanted to do something in the 50s style because I had the cars.
Sure.
And I wanted to get my cars on stage where people could see them. And we want to make sure we remind people, this is outdoors now, folks. This is an outdoor theater. We have a blacktop with a diner and
the windshield wipers do work.
yeah. And you can, so we can drive cars in and out and motorcycles, and that's what we do. But I wanted to write something, and I've always loved that song, Fun. Now that Daddy took the T-Bird away. And since that line was in there, it was a perfect line for Daddy took the T-Bird away. So
Sure.
that's where we came up with with the idea of that. Then the second idea was to come up with the Lucy and Ruth's Diner, because it kind of played along with with what we're talking about. So, but now we're doing other shows. We have another show which you haven't seen that you'll probably really like. It's called Bebopalula.
I'm sure I'll make that one. Hold on just a minute before you do that. Guys, this is so cool. I hate to take a break because I love this, but we got to pay for this thing, but somehow, Guys, you're on Event Radio. We're having just too much fun with my buddy, Mr. Hannah Shane, the owner, operator, superstar. Call him whatever you want to, but he is Mr. Pine Knob, Kentucky. He is the head guy at the Pine Knob Theater, one of the most fun places you will ever go in your life. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Quick Fuel Technology, the innovators in fuel systems, introduces the latest in high-temperature coating technology for select street and performance carburetors. QFT's new Black Diamond series features a unique satin black Teflon coating that provides award-winning good looks and lasting durability. The Black Diamond series is impact-resistant, repels all underhood chemicals, and reduces fuel temperature by 6% for improved performance. The Black Diamond series by Quick Fuel, the ultimate in form and function.
All right, guys, we are back with Mr. Hannah Shane, the Pine Knob Theater, one of the coolest places you can go spend your time in the summer months. Outdoors, beautiful weather always. It rains everywhere but in Pine Knob,
Yeah,
right?
that's what we say. It never rains on a show
Never
night.
rains on a show night. Boy, you got some. The music in your shows is killer. How do you find so many good singers and stuff?
Well, let me tell you about some of the girls I've got in the show. When we, like the third or fourth year that we had the theater open, I happened to be in Owensboro at a travel show. You go around these travel shows and so forth. And I was walking through the kind of food court area, and a church had set up a booth, and they were selling cupcakes and candies and stuff. And these three girls were singing.
Yeah.
And they were singing harmony, bebop, 50s stuff. And I walked over and I said, girls, let me hear y'all sing some more. And so they sang some stuff for me. I said, how would you all like to be in a play and sing some of these songs? And they kind of looked at me like, well, I've heard all kind of come-on lines, but never heard one like this,
Yeah,
But,
well, might as well go for it, right?
I said, look, give me your phone numbers. I said, I'm writing a play called Daddy Took the T-Bird Away. And I said, I aim to have it up and running next year. And I said, give me a phone number. I can get in touch with you all. Well, I lost the phone number over the winter. And we opened the show the next year with a live band, and I didn't have these girls. And then that summer, I found their numbers.
Oh, wow.
These girls have been with me since. They're still there now.
Listen, they're
They're
absolutely
from Owensboro.
awesome.
Kay and Lisa, and we had Patty Glenn. Matter of fact, Patty used to be here in Bowling Green.
Right.
She was in the
Miss
record,
America.
You remember the record store? It used to be
Yes,
out here.
yes, I remember.
near
Her
the-
last name was Griffiths, before it became Glenn.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, very talented gal.
Patty passed away with cancer several years ago, and she was in our show with Kay and Lisa, and that's where that bunch came from.
Right.
Jeff Armstrong, who's now working on some movie stuff, and he came to us right out of high school. He's a barber, and he does some great Elvis stuff.
Oh,
And
listen, he was wonderful
Yeah.
the night I was there. He was great.
Yeah, he's really good. And also, I want to mention too that we've had 3 of our actors that have ended up in major motion pictures.
Cool.
Muse Watson is probably the most known one. He was our first Doc Brown. Muse is really Bob Gravel, but he changed his name when he got into the movies, and he's been into Something to Talk About. He was on I always get it wrong, MCSI or whatever you call that show. He was a CSI. Yeah, he was just regular on it. Do what? Yeah.
Yeah, whatever it is.
Whatever
yeah.
it is. I'm not. I don't watch that kind of stuff too much.
We don't give them commercials. That's what.
But then Morgan Rocky was in The Patriot.
Uh-huh.
And Kenny Vinson has been in several of the movies.
Well, now let me tell you something. You're quite an accomplished actor yourself, my friend. I saw I guess it was a parade at Halloween.
Yeah.
Where you and Miss Debbie dressed up as like a Monster Mash type deal.
Yeah.
And took the old cars and stuff, and that was just cooler than pockets on a shirt. Boy, I'm telling you, that was great.
Caneyville, every October, first weekend in October, they have the school fair.
Uh-huh.
Even though it started out being a school fair years ago, now it's kind of a community fair. And everybody always looks for Debbie and I to do something. And so every
that
year,
was killer when I saw.
we've done the you know, the Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? We've done all of that stuff, and we've done different things at different times. We've done Andy and Barney and Elvis and well, you know what I'm talking about. Just
sure.
parrot
Here's the
stuff
dynamic duos.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
And it's always fun to do. But we love getting on stage and doing things, and we try to go out and get in some parades once in a while. Now, the latest show that I've written, and we opened it last year. You haven't seen this one yet either, and we're getting ready to open it up in Henderson again. We go to Henderson Fine Arts Center in Henderson, Kentucky. We perform there. We also perform at the River Park Center in Owensboro in our off season during the winter.
Right.
And I've got a new show called Big Girls Don't Cry.
Cool.
And it's done with 7 girls, they're singers.
Yeah.
It's a musical, and it's basically a fun story about women that from the 70s. It's set in the 1970s, and these women are talking about when they went to prom night back in the 50s. Or
we all remember those.
They always remember prom night. So it's a combination of their stories about prom night, what happened to them on prom night, filled in with music that they sing.
I got you.
So it's a musical, and it's a really good show to see. We're getting ready to do that March the 26th.
Well, tell our listeners where they can come see you in the winter months now. When can they do this? Rather?
Well, this is the only one we have booked right now, and it will be at Henderson, Kentucky, at the Henderson Fine Arts Center. They've changed the name to something, and I can't remember what it's changed to. But anyway, it's the old it's a college, community college. And we'll do that on a Sunday afternoon at 3 o'clock, March 26th.
March the 26th.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Guys, so you can go ahead and start writing this stuff down because Beach Bend actually opens the 1st of March. So you'll be coming in here and doing things. But the main thing is the summertime. When you come in here, Pine Knob runs how many nights a week?
Well, we open usually the first weekend in June and close the last Saturday in September, and we're Friday and Saturday nights.
Okay.
And generally a Friday night show is different from Saturday night.
Yeah, I knew that they were different every week. But when you come into town, guys, either one of those nights, right into your itinerary to take the night off, get in your car, cruise up there because it's less than an hour away, and you will be entertained to the max.
Yeah, it's great. We're only about 40 miles from Bowling Green. Come up 185.
Well, listen, it's great. It is absolutely great to go see this. Let me ask you something about your cars. Now, of course, this is a car-related show.
Sure.
I mean, we do everything with wheels. But you showed me some pictures. You don't just museum these cars. You get them out and go, my friend.
Yeah. Matter of fact, the newest vehicle that I own is a 99 Dodge truck.
Okay.
And I only drive it when the weather's bad or rainy or snow or something when I don't drive. But all of my cars, matter of fact, we were just in a couple of days ago. Matter of fact, yesterday we were out in the Crown Victoria. We have a 56 Crown Vic. Ford red and white that we've had to California twice. It's been in 38 states. But I have Mercury's, and we've had them to Montana. We've had them to Florida. I have a 29 Model A. I've had to Key West. Didn't drive it all the way now.
No, that's all right.
Towed it to Key Largo, but I drove it the last 90 miles over the bridges, and what have you. So, and it was great. We spent like 3 nights in
They probably
Key
thought
West.
you were John Dillinger coming back in or something.
Absolutely. When you drive around Key West in a Model A at night.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you another quick story here, Speedy, that we went to New Hampshire and bought a Model A one time, and we put it on a truck, on a wagon. I mean, on a trailer on the back of a Dodge truck. And I asked Debbie, I said, "Have you ever been to New York City?" She said, "No, I don't think I want to go." And I said, "Well, we're so close we need to go."
Okay.
And I said, "I've been a couple of times, but you need to go." So I asked a fellow that was at the motel where we were staying in New Hampshire, and I said, "I'd really like to take this through New York City." I said, "Do you think I could drive down, through the Times Square with this?" And he said, "Well, sure." He said, "Let me tell you how to get there, though. Don't go the interstate." I said, "Well, we don't do interstates anyway." He told me how to go up this along the river, the Hudson River. I can't think of the name of the little parkway, but we went that way and took that way. And when we got close right into New York City, we come to a toll gate.
Okay.
And I seen there's 2 or 3 people come out of the toll gate, and I was pulling up to it, and the guy said, "What are you doing on here with that?" And, of course, I played good and dumb. I said, what do you mean I'm on that? And he said, you're not supposed to have a truck and trailer on this, pulling anything. We like to not got through. It was so narrow, we like to not got through the toll gate. So we go on down and we get we come up on some state troopers. And so I pull over and I ask him, I said, do you think I'll be okay if I drive, through Times Square with this? And he said, you got a license on that trailer? And I said, well, in Kentucky, we don't have to have them. He said, have fun.
There you go.
We took off and we drove around Times Square, all around at noon on a Saturday.
Oh, me.
With thousands of people and taxi cabs everywhere. But you know what? We had a wonderful time, and people were hollering at us and looking at us. But since we were driving the truck with the Model A on the trailer behind it, they don't normally get to see that downtown.
Yeah. Oh, no. I wouldn't think so.
So every car we came up on, they would see us.
And they'd let you go, yeah.
They let us go. They let us get around. They helped us.
I see you've just figured out how to get through
Yes.
New York City that nobody else in the country can figure out a way to do it. But that's pretty cool. That's pretty neat.
Another thing, too, we were on American Pickers a couple of years ago. I don't know if
were
you
you?
did. Yeah.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, we did the opening show 2 years ago for American Pickers, and we sold them 257 Fords.
Oh, really?
They weren't mine; they were my cousins.
Okay.
Because I don't really deal in cars. I don't really buy them and sell them.
You buy them and keep them.
I'm not a dealer. I'm a keeper. And I will sell one once in a while if I find something better that I want, But I've got 10 in all, 10 classics. And we did the American Pickers show. And matter of fact, those people out here have probably seen it because I get people all the time saying, "Hey, saw you last night on American Pickers," because they keep showing the shows over and over.
Yeah.
And my 56 Mercury Montclair is in the show. As a matter of fact, both of the boys got to drive my cars. And,
Really?
And,
let me ask you something. What's Hannes's favorite car? You got 10. What's your favorite?
My favorite is the 56 Mercury that I'm talking about. It's turquoise and white. It's actually called Verona Green, but it's the old turquoise and white from the 50s. That was the turquoise was such a popular color for the 57
gorgeous.
Chevy and all that back then.
Yeah.
And to me, it's my favorite. Now, Debbie's favorite is the Crown Vic. The red
Really?
and white
She
Crown
likes
Vic.
the red-
yeah. And she drives it. She drives it to Bowling Green once in a while. When she comes bowling, if I don't go with her, I say, which car you want to drive? She said, I want the Crown Vic. She drives the Crown Vic. She loves it.
Yeah. Well, she's a beautiful lady, so she turns head as well as the car, But it's really, I haven't seen them all till tonight. You showed me pictures, but you have got a car collection that's just second to none. I mean, they're gorgeous.
And I just like them. People say, you go to car shows? And I say, no, not really. I'm not really into that much about car shows. I like to go see them, but I'm not a displayer.
You're a user.
I bring
you
my
use
car.
it.
Yeah, I bring my cars to the theater for people to see while they're there.
Yeah.
But to go out and I don't enter them in contests or anything like that. My cars aren't perfect. They're not the kind of cars that are going to win a lot of trophies.
Well, I'm going to argue with you. They probably are perfect because you use them.
Yeah, they're drivable.
They're not trailer queens.
Yeah.
You use them, you drive them, you go. They're stars of the shows.
Yeah.
Because everybody, trust me, when it's over, they walk down and look at those cars. Now, the night I was there, part of the people were leaving. The other part were going down the steps to go down and see the cars.
And they take pictures, and they take those and show them. And
sure,
anything we can do to get people to talk about us or make pictures to take and show other people.
Well, my friend, listen, all they have to do is make one visit, and they will be talking about
Well,
you.
we wouldn't have been there 30 years if it hadn't been for people coming back.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's quite an enjoyable evening. I can't express to you enough how much fun I've had every time I've been there, and I'm looking forward to this summer. I'm going back. I'm going to see the shows that I've missed. We got to take another quick break just for a couple of minutes and give Hannes just a little bit of a break here, but not much because we're going to keep after this. Guys, you're on Event Radio. We're having just too much fun, and we'll be right back.
On the track or on the street, the number one brand in performance is Holley. Have you heard about the Ultra Street Avengers, Ultra Double Pumpers, Ultra HP, and Ultra Dominator carburetors? They're ultra light, ultra cool, and ultra fast. Holley carbs are the most powerful carbs money can buy with no further modifications. Holley, winning performance for over 100 years.
All right, guys, we are back with my buddy, Mr. Hannes Shane, the number one man, the man what
I
is.
tell you, you got to quit bragging so much here.
Well, hey, buddy, I'm trying to get a free ticket to get in. That's what I'm trying to do. No, I'm just playing. Listen, it's one of the very few venues, and being in the media, we get pretty much open-armed at just about anything we want to go to. And I'm telling you, Pine Knob is good enough. I will pay for every ticket, and glad I paid for it. Listen, no, it's that much fun. It's that much entertainment, guys. Trust me. I've been. I love it. It's the neatest thing going. I just wish I had more time to go more often. But out of all of the shows that you do, which has been the most popular?
The most popular?
Yeah.
I would have to say probably the T-Bird Show, which you haven't come to see yet, but the T-Bird Show is probably the if I'm out somewhere and somebody sees me, they'll holler if I'm a lion, I'm a dime, which is the old Jerry Clowers line, because I use that in Doc Brown. So I know when they holler at me and say that, I know they've seen Doc Brown.
Sure.
And then they'll start singing "Fun, Fun, Fun," as they go.
Right.
They'll walk by me and go "Fun, Fun, Fun," and then I know, of course, they've been there, they've seen it. Yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to that one. I wanted to see that one. And something happened that I had to go the other night.
But now
Lard was
right
great.
Behind it.
Oh, listen, it was great.
And listen, we back in 1987, I believe, I wrote a sequel to the Down in Hoodoo Holler. We haven't talked much about that, but I wrote a comedy. Let me just real briefly tell you about it.
That's fine.
When I wrote the Doc Brown story, I wanted to. We just only did it on Saturday nights the first year because we had a big cast and it was our first year and we were just getting started. But the second year, I wrote this play called Down in Hoodoo Holler, and it's set in the 1930s, and it's about a city slicker from Louisville named J. Roy Hunt who comes to Hoodoo Holler, which is Pine Knob, in search of Doc Brown's gold. You see, the outlaw, when the outlaw was killed in 1951, to this day, we've never found his money.
Oh, okay.
And long story short, I even had a fellow from Saudi Arabia come to my house one time that wanted to enter in a contract with me to look for his gold. But he got to keep the gold, and I got to keep anything else he found, and I didn't like the
That's
odds
not too
there,
good a deal there, no.
But so I wrote this comedy about a city slicker who comes to Hoodoo Holler looking for the gold because he found some maps and riddles in a library book.
Okay.
Well, Crazy Uncle Ari, I can't give it away. I can't start.
Tell me all of it now.
So while he's there looking for the gold that summer, and the whole community pitches in and tries to help him find it, he ends up marrying the local girl and moves away. At the end of the show, they get married and they drive off, and another fellow comes in, and he's got a map and some riddles. He's from Owensboro College, and he's looking for Doc Brown's gold. So you can kind of figure out a little bit here maybe what's happening.
Sure.
So anyway, so then I wrote a sequel to it called The Return of Goldie Mae. The little girl gets married. It's called Goldie Mae Doolin. So I wrote a sequel called The Return of Goldie Mae, or Hoodoo 2. And in that show, we set it 10 years later. We're in the 1940s, and it's set in the swing dance mode. We do swing dancing in it.
Yeah, cool.
We have a late 40s car come in for that show, which my neighbor has it, so we use his car for that. And the number of shows is Doc Brown Down in Hoodoo Holler, the sequel to it, Hoodoo 2, Lucy and Ruth's Diner, Daddy Took the T-Bird Away, Bebop Alula, and our new show is Big Girls Don't Cry. So that's the
guys. Let me tell you what, and it is a cardinal sin if you don't see every one of them. I haven't done it yet. I plan to. I'm going to make that this summer my goal to see the shows that I haven't seen, and I can't wait. It's just cooler than pockets on a shirt. Now I'm telling you to go down there and have a good night. The shows last a couple hours?
Yeah, we try to. We've cut them down a little bit. We know that people, since we're on in the Central Time Zone. We start our shows at 7:30, which is E-Town or Louisville be 8:30. So we want to make sure we get out of there by 9:30 our time, which is 10:30 Louisville time and E-Town time. That makes sure they get home before midnight because we used to run a little longer with them, but we kind of cut them down a little bit. And maybe that's what you were talking about. You wanted to see some more. We want you leaving there and wanting to see more. But
well, no, I always did want to see more.
Yeah.
You know,
but it's about 2 hours, counting about a 10-minute break in between. So we try to start at 7:30. And I can almost guarantee you, if something doesn't happen, we'll get you out of there by 9:30.
And I want to give you a compliment on something that we had been to a indoor play here in town, and I couldn't hear it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if the actors weren't together or if your sound equipment is so much better. But guys, you will hear every word clear as a bell. Yep. You can know what's going on. You can see what's going on. There's not a bad seat in the house. They're all great places to sit. And trust me, you got to go make it on your calendar. Go down here, and this is fun.
Well, Spivey, I'm getting a little bit hard hearing myself because I've been radio all my life, and I've had headphones on. I've played in bands, and we still play music, and I'm beginning to lose my hearing. So I know if I can hear it,
that anybody else
I know that everybody else can hear it.
Well, I did it with race cars, buddy, so I know what the deal is.
And we try to make sure you can hear because hearing is really more important than seeing.
Well, sure.
When you're at a theater, if you can see people, but if you don't hear them, and let me just pass along a couple of funny things. We've done several shows at the River Park Center in Owensboro. We have sometimes 12 to 1,500 come and see us when we're indoors somewhere. Matter of fact, we'd like to try to get down to Skypack.
You should. They should let you in Skypack.
But what I want to tell you was that the last time we were at River Park. Somebody was telling me this. There was when the curtains opened up and the show started, and we did T-Bird. That a little girl jumped up and said, "They're alive." She thought she had never seen a live stage show.
Yeah.
And she thought she was going to see a movie theater. She's going to see the play. Thought it was
they're real, huh?
Yeah. She said, "They're alive."
Oh, that's cool. That's great. What have I missed?
Oh, let's see. Other than just some funny stories, I can't think of anything else. Can I tell my good funny story about the time I went to California?
Oh, yes, sir. Please do.
Well, 1958, my mom and dad was invited by my uncle and aunt, which is Uncle Arthur and Aunt Goldie. It was actually my dad's uncle, but he was younger than my dad.
Okay.
You know that happens sometimes. But they wanted to go to California to visit some of our relatives who lived out near Garden Grove, which is where Disneyland is. And, of course, I was only 12 at the time, and they wanted me to go with them rather than stay home, and I'm so glad I did. So we took old Route 66 and Uncle Arthur's 1958 Buick. It had the device on the dial, on the speedometer. You could set a dial at whatever speed you wanted, 50 or 60. And then when you reached that speed, there was a buzzer in the car.
I remember that.
And the buzzer would go off so you didn't have to watch the speedometer all the time. Well, Uncle Arthur set it on 85, and he was hard of hearing, and we buzzed for 2 weeks to California.
There you go.
When we got out to the desert area, we saw a big sign. It said, "Be prepared, you are entering the desert." Well, we had no idea what that meant, so we pull over to the gas station. We ask a fellow, and he says, "Well, what that means is for the next several hundred miles, there's not going to be anything. There's not going to be any gas stations, no place to eat, no place to sleep. It's desert. So you need to be prepared. You need to make sure you got good tires, that you got plenty of gas, you got plenty of water before you start out across this desert." Well, it scared my mom and dad to death because we had first television in the community in 1952. We'd seen Gunsmoke and Death Valley days.
You knew what that was,
and
right?
We knew what it was. We didn't want to die out there in the desert and get eaten by buzzards. So they debated for almost an hour, maybe thought about turning around and come back home. But after we checked everything out, we crossed the desert. We made our way to California. One of the first places we wanted to see was Hollywood. We'd seen that on TV.
Sure.
So here we are. You got the pictures now. Here we are. We're standing at the corner of Hollywood and Vine. You cannot be more downtown Hollywood.
No, that's about it, yes.
The 5 of us. And we had a 625 Kodak camera. The kind you look down, you hold it about your waist, and you look down, you take the picture, look through the little screen. So here we are taking pictures. And this city fellow walks up by us, and he looks us up and down, and he says, "Howdy, folks. Said, you all aren't from here, are you?" And Dad said, "No, we're from Pine Knob, Kentucky." He said, "Well, what are y'all doing out here?" My dad said, "Well, we're on vacation, and we've come to visit relatives." He said, "Well, what have you seen so far?" Dad said, we come through that Mojave Desert for one thing.
The Mojave, okay.
And he said, we saw some Navajo Indians. And the fellow kind of grinned a little bit and shook his head. He said, "Where y'all staying?" My dad said, "Well, we're staying with our cousin Sonny tonight down San Jose." And the man grinned a little more, and he said, "Now, sir," he said, I know you're from Kentucky and maybe not used to things out here in the West, but he said, I don't want you to embarrass yourself, so I'm going to tell you now, you don't pronounce the J out here like a J. We pronounce it like an H. You see, it's not the Mojave, it's Mojave.
There you go.
It's not the Navajos, it's Navajos. And that's not San Jose down there, it's San Jose. And Dad said, okay. He said, how long you all plan on being out here? And Dad said, I guess we'll stay the rest of Hoon, maybe part of Hulai.
There you go. But guys, that's about the best I can do right there. Guys, we're going to take another quick break, and I'll close this thing down. We have had a blast with Mr. Hannah Shane. I'll be right back.
Quick Fuel Technology, the innovators in fuel systems, introduces the latest in high-temperature coating technology for select street and performance carburetors. QFT's new Black Diamond series features a unique satin black Teflon coating that provides award-winning good looks and lasting durability. The Black Diamond series is impact-resistant, repels all underhood chemicals, and reduces fuel temperature by 6% for improved performance. The Black Diamond series by Quick Fuel, the ultimate in form and function.
All right, guys, we are back with Mr. Hannah Shane. We're going to give you just a little bit of a city tour, if you will, of Pine Knob, because there's things, if you go just to the theater, that you might miss. Right. And as long as we've got Hannah here, I want you to know a lot about Pine Knob. It's sort of a step back in time, the way things used to be. And guys, you can't appreciate where you're going unless you know where you came from.
Right.
So you got to learn to appreciate that. Give us a little tour.
Well, if you leave Caneyville and you're headed north toward Rough River State Park on Highway 79, about halfway between Caneyville and a little place called Short Creek, you'll see a sign on the side of the road that says Pine Knob Theater with a big arrow, and you'll turn in on the Pine Knob Road. Now, we're 2 miles in. Once you turn off 79, we're 2 miles in. And as you start the first mile, you come in, then you'll start going down into the valley. Pine Knob is down in a valley. There's a 206-foot cliffs on both sides, so you're in a valley. That's where the old country store is. That was the kind of the heart of the community. It and the church and the store right there. The Primitive Baptist Church was established in Pine Knob in the 1830s. Now that was a log church. This is the present church that's there now. Has been there about 130 years. And beside it'll be the old country store. The house I was born in, which I still own, by the way, we turned it into a 50s diner, and you got to come and see that. Now, we haven't been operating it for the last few years because we moved our food all up to the theater to have stuff up there. But I do have a 50s, like in American Graffiti.
Soda fountain type
deal. A little smaller version of it.
That's cool.
And the Pine Knob School is still there, built in 1925. We had a high school in Pine Knob in 1925. My mother went to Pine Knob High School. She ended up going to Western and becoming a teacher, and then she came back and she taught school there. It's a big 4-room school. I own it. We've reconditioned it. We've restored all of them, and all the buildings that are there. Many of them are from the early 30s and 40s, but the oldest building is up by the theater. We moved it there from about a mile up the road, and it was built in 1865, just right after the Civil War. And it's the old Stinson House. So there's what I'm trying to say is if you come to the theater, come early and walk around the community. We have springs. We have a big gazebo down in the picnic area in front of the old country store that we have weddings. We do a lot of weddings every year. We've already booked some for this coming year. We do outdoor weddings. And then you'll have some time to look around. If you want to take some of the hiking trails, you can take a short hike before the show if you want to. Then you can come and enjoy the show and see the theater. You know, we have all handicap facilities for everybody. Of course, we have all the modern bathrooms, and we have paved parking lots and all that kind of stuff. So permanent seats at the theater. These are regular outdoor plastic-type seats that are bolted to the frames. You know, they're not. Some people want to know if I should bring a chair or not.
Not hardly, no.
We have all that taken care of. So, but just come and look the community over. We used to say the experience of the Pine Knob Theater begins when you turn in on the Pine Knob Road.
Well, I said the parking lot earlier, and I should have said the road because it's quite scenic going in there. Yeah. Beautiful country to walk by. You know, it's usually getting just a little bit dark when it's showtime, and go early, like Hannah said, where you can see everything, where you can get the feel of what a country community was like back in those days, because that's when life was simpler, but life was real. You didn't talk to each other through a computer. You actually talked to each other face to face, and you knew who your friends were and who the enemies were without going online to find out. And it's quite a pleasurable evening. I mean, I've enjoyed it every time I've been.
And we've had actors from Louisville, Bowling Green, Owensboro. We when we say actors now, look, we take anybody in that wants to be in the theater. There's anywhere from 70 to 80 of us during the summer that put these plays on, because there are different people in different ones, and we have help backstage and help in concessions and all that kind of stuff. But we pretty much will take anybody. If you would like to perform, if you'd like to be an actor, if you'd like to learn to act, don't cost you anything. You don't get paid either.
There you go. That's all right.
We're a 501c3, a nonprofit community theater. We're supported by the state of Kentucky through the arts. And if you'd like to try your hand at acting, we'd love to have you come and join us and be with us. And I have a little thing that's worked real well for us is that once I give someone a part that's in, say a person this is your character, as long as they don't outgrow that part is theirs year after year for as long as they want it. It's theirs.
Well, I'm telling you what, guys, the experience shows. It's one of the most enjoyable evenings that I can recall in a long time. Boy, we got an open weekend on Event Radio, and you can count on where this fat boy is going to be just about. Because I'm going to go check it out. I think it's neat. Hannes, thank you so much for joining us on Event Radio. Man, this has been my pleasure. You're so busy when I come up there, I don't get a chance to much more and say hi. But thank you for taking the time to sit down and tell us a little about Pine Knob, and you bring to life what you guys show the public so well. And I enjoy it. Thank you very much.
Well, Spivey, thank you for inviting me, and you come anytime you want to. Bring your friends, come up and enjoy. We do this for the love of it. And I one last thing, when I finally reach my end, I want to be buried right there close to the theater by the old Primitive Baptist Church. I have a rock that came out of the foundation of the Doc Brown Outlaw House that's going to be inscribed with my name and my birth date and my death date, and it's going to have this written on it. And this is what I mean. This is true. It's going to say, I love this place so much, I think I'll stay.
Well, buddy, I tell you what, if you ever go, you'll want to go back. Guys, the one and only Hannes Shane, I'll be right back to end this show. Thank you for joining us. Don't you go anywhere. We'll be right back.
On the track or on the street, the number one brand in performance is Holley. Have you heard about the Ultra Street Avengers, Ultra Double Pumpers, Ultra HP, and Ultra Dominator carburetors? They're ultra light, ultra cool, and ultra fast. Holley carbs are the most powerful carbs money can buy with no further modifications. Holley, winning performance for over 100 years.
Well, guys, there you have it. We got to go to Pine Knob by way of the gentleman that knows all, sees all, and does all at Pine Knob. And trust me, if you do have the opportunity, we're not playing. You will have a great night. It is a tremendous amount of fun, and it's very easy to find. The tickets are cheap, and the food's good, and daggone, it's a fun night any Friday or Saturday all summer long, and you'll see some productions that are New York-style productions, and you get to see them under the stars and just really enjoy yourself. As always, we appreciate you listening to Event Radio. Your numbers that we have grown to are staggering. We can't thank you enough for everybody that tunes into this show every week to see what we're up to. But we thank you so much. As always, we never quit without thanking our sponsors, the great guys at Holley. If you can't find a part for your hot rod at Holley, my friend.
I got Holley's on all my cars.
There you go.
Four barrels.
All right. If you can't find a part for your hot rod at Holley, my friend, you don't have a hot rod. That's pretty simple. Just call them up, get on their tech line. All the guys are very knowledgeable, and they will get you exactly what you need. The great guys at Quick Fuel Technologies, the best race carburetor manufacturers on the planet. I don't care how fast your car is, it can be faster, and all you got to do is go to Quick Fuel to make that happen. Last but not least, my good buddy, Mr. Jimmy B., at GearheadGazette.com. Every cool event that goes on in the car hobby, you will find at GearheadGazette.com. Go on there. I think they have 60,000 people a week that look at that thing and find all the cool stuff that's going on, and I'm sure he may have a cruise in at Pine Knob one of these days. You never know. But if so, I want to go on it. Once again, thank you so much for joining us on Event Radio. We appreciate you more than you know. We will leave you with the one thought we always do. If you have enjoyed it, please tell a friend. If you haven't, you keep that to yourself. We'll be back. See you guys.
You've been listening to Event Radio, covering local drag racing, stock car racing, motorcycles, go-karts. If it's got wheels and you can race it, you heard about it here. Event Radio is motorsports radio on steroids. Join us next time with your hosts, Spivey Williams and Terrible T Guy.